Today I am pleased to announce that I have finally completed my back wall, the final edition being Echidna, the star of Re:Zero Season 2. And usually when you buy anime goods from a store in Japan, they'll throw in a few freebies on top of that, so I have these school ID style cards, the first one being Amelia from Spirit User High. Next up we have Rem from Rosewall Academy, and then finally I hit the jackpot one more time with Echidna from Witch Academy. So, how do I feel about Re:Zero Season 2? Let's walk and talk. Re:Zero Season 1 was incredibly popular in Japan when it first aired back in 2016, and for a while I can recall every arcade around here being full of Rem plushies. I watched it back then and I enjoyed it for sure, but then I forgot about it for a while, so when Season 2 came out, I did something that I rarely do. I rewatched Season 1. 2016 was the last time I was regularly watching anime with English subtitles. For the past 3 or so years, I've pretty much watched everything in Japanese with Japanese subtitles if possible, and so when that's how I rewatched Re:Zero Season 1, the show felt a little different to me. The language was much more complex than I realized the first time around, and it's very easy to tell that this anime was based off a novel. For example, the anime dialogue seems to maintain a lot of its original literary phrasing, and some of the dialogue/monologue is just really long. For example, the infamous episode 18 between Rem and Subaru. I'm not saying this is a bad thing at all, I'm just saying that you see things through different angles when you're processing the character's words in a different language. Anyway, if you're not familiar with the anime, Re:Zero is an isekai show about a high school boy named Subaru who wakes up in a fantasy world in which he basically gets sent back to a save point each time he dies, which is extremely often. Each arc puts Subaru in a different mysterious scenario in which he dies a few times, but remembering his previous deaths gives him clues as to how to move on. At the same time, dying all the time takes a tremendous psychological toll on him, so the big question often is, which will happen first? Will he solve the mystery, or will he psychologically break? Season 1 consists of 3 arcs that get more and more difficult, culminating in the White Whale arc that pushed Subaru to his breaking point. Only after his infamous episode-long dialogue with Rem was he able to recover and overcome the seemingly hopeless trial before him. So after all that hardship, what does Season 2 do? It ups the degree of difficulty another order of magnitude. All of Season 2 is dedicated to one long arc that makes the white whale seem like a goldfish. As you may suspect, I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, I appreciate the ambition. Part of me wants every arc to be more challenging than the last. I mean, what's the point if things just stay the same or just get easier for Subaru? On the other hand, it kinda cheapens Subaru's progress from Season 1. We thought that Season 1 had already pushed him to his absolute limits, and now we find out that wasn't even close. The other problem with Season 2 is that it had a lot of slower parts, and that was often due to long character development flashbacks. Now this isn't always a bad thing, in fact, sometimes it's actually kinda interesting, but at some point, you just want to move on with the plot. In fact, one of the plot points from Season 2 was this trial that required characters to confront their past, and that is just the cheapest way in the universe to cram in character development. But I'm willing to forgive all that, because this season did have one awesome addition, and that was Echidna, the Witch of Greed. A character so greedy that she stole the show every single time she appeared on screen, which was never often enough. There were some other new interesting characters as well. For example, they introduced all of the other witches, who all seem like perfectly interesting characters in their own right. But at least at first glance, the other witches seem kind of one-dimensional, whereas Echidna had a really well-balanced personality. On a final note, one of the new characters from this season is a guy who can turn into a large orange cat named Garfield. That is the best character name I have come across in recent memory. Anyway, overall, this is a great season with a few slow points along the way, so it's probably best marathoned. Final grade, double plus.